Hey everyone, I'm Haley, a senior civil engineering student at the University of Portland, and I'm from Honolulu, Hawaii. So today we will be classifying or identifying rocks from right in your backyard. So if you go to the website, there will be a file right below this video. Click on that, and you can either print that out or draw it yourself. This will be a guide or a template for the future tests we will be conducting for this activity. So once you have that drawn up or printed, first thing, head outside and grab 2 to 4 rocks. Try to find interesting ones or a variety because these are the ones we're going to be testing and trying to figure out what kind of rocks they are later on. Okay, great everyone. Let's head outside. Now that I have collected my rocks, I'm going to go ahead and wash them off and then dry them. Here's an image of the 3 rocks that I have found. So before we conduct any of the tests, I would like you to draw and color your rocks in your worksheet. Here is me drawing my rocks. Now they don't look exactly the same, but I just want you to draw something similar to kind of show the colors of the rocks. Next, I would like you to write whether your rock is dull, shiny, or somewhere in between where it is dull with some sparkles or crystals found on it. The presence or lack of crystals can help determine what kind of rock it is later on. Our first test is to determine whether or not your rocks are magnetic. To do this, grab a magnet and hold it up to the rock. If the magnet is pulled towards the rock or sticks to the rock, it is magnetic. If not, there is no magnetic aspects to your rocks. Magnetic rocks are often formed from volcanoes. The next test is a scratch test. For this, we're going to try to make a scratch on your rock with either your fingernail, a penny, or an iron nail. And make sure that after you scratch it, when you wipe it down, the scratch is still there because it might just leave a mark and not actually scratch the rock. If the fingernail leaves a lasting mark, write down 1 to 3 on your paper. If it is a penny that leaves a mark, write down 3 to 4. If the iron nail is the one that leaves a mark, write down 5 to 7. But if none of these work, write 8 to 10. This number is its value on the Mohs hardness scale. The lower the number, the softer the rock is. The softest rock is talc, which would be a 1 on the Mohs scale, while a diamond is one of the hardest rocks, and it would have a 10 on the scale. For our next test, we're going to write down whether or not our rocks sink or float. Fill a cup with water that is big enough to fit the rock. Slowly drop the rock in and then write down whether it sinks or floats. A rock would float if the amount of water it displaces or takes the space of is less than the amount that the rock weighs. Our next test is a vinegar test, which checks the acidity of the rock. Put a few drops of vinegar on the rock. If it fizzes, it has carbonate in it. This is because vinegar is a very strong acid, and when it comes into contact or touches carbonate, a chemical reaction occurs, creating carbon dioxide. So unfortunately, none of my rocks had the carbonate in it, so there's no fun reaction. But if you want to see what that looks like, go ahead and look it up online. Here's what my worksheet looks like so far. We only have one more test left. The final test is the color streak test. Go outside and find some smooth cement, such as a sidewalk, and scratch the rocks on it. Notice if the rock makes a streak of color, and if it does, what color. Write down the color of the streak, or none if there isn't any. Here is my worksheet with all the test information filled in. So the final step is classifying what kind of rock you have, or rocks. So if you go to the website, right below where you found the blank worksheet are 3 classification charts you can use. From these, you can use the information that you found in your test and guess on what kind of rock your rock is. So for rock number 3, I used chart classification number 3. And from that, I figured out that it was feldspar granite. And also it helps to look up pictures of the rocks on the list and see which ones look the most like yours. Now these are all guesses and we don't expect you to have a completely accurate classification of your rock. Just go ahead and send in a picture of your worksheet to robotics@up.edu, and we'll post it on the website to show off your amazing detective skills. Good luck!